There are multiple reasons most people do not need to wear a face mask, and this video will show you why. We are not designed to wear a face mask. Key points in this video are masks work best when worn properly and in conjunction with good hand hygiene. Also, surgical masks are meant for the hospital caregiver setting. If masks are not handled properly, there will be health consequences. All medical people know this. Taking the mask on and off mitigates the protective effect of the mask in several ways. Every time you touch the mask, it is potentially spreading bacteria and viruses.
In an office like this where you're wearing a mask, every time you talk on the phone, you take the mask off so that you can be understood. You get a drink of water and you're going to take the mask, you have to pull it down. If you're going to eat something, you have to take it off. Well, and then you're handling pencils and pens and papers and cell phones and all this sort of thing. Well, by noon every day, what you've really done is created a bacterial cesspool, and it's dangerous. So I basically, didn't want my people being exposed to that. I don't want to be exposed to it.
The notion that COVID contaminates everything is taken from the experts who have stated it can remain on surfaces for days. If that's true, then the virus is virtually everywhere around us and on everything, and I don't think wearing a mask is going to help us with that. If someone happens to have COVID-19 and they do take their mask on and off, they're contaminating everything and everyone around them just by the very fact that they're ill. Virtually everyone takes on and off the mask throughout their day for whatever reason. Maybe it's to eat, to smoke, to speak, whatever. Again, if they do have COVID-19, that mask is now pretty lethal. This is why wearing a mask only works for hospital settings where the doctor never touches the masks and they're constantly washing their hands. It would be almost impossible for people outside of their home setting to wear a face mask all day and then to be able to wash their hands after touching the mask, itching under the mask, adjusting the mask, removing the mask. Really, no one is able to wash their hands.
And the video ends with an instructional piece that says, masks are only effective. She did say masks are only effective with good hand hygiene. And this, in fact, is impossible when you're out on the road, out on the street, to have good hand hygiene, because you're out, you're getting on buses, you're touching everything, you go to the store, and sure, if you're wearing your mask, you can't be washing your hands every 30 seconds. You're going to be maybe adjusting your mask, you're going to be taking your mask off, you're going to be putting it back on. There are many situations throughout our daily lives where it is necessary for us to take the mask off in order to go forward with our normal existence.
And people love to touch their masks. They itch themselves under the mask and constantly adjust the mask, wiping it around all over their faces. They wear masks on their chins, on top of their heads, hanging off their ears. They stuff them into their pockets and into their purses. I've seen them hanging on the car window shield. The mismanagement of face masks is very unsanitary and harmful to everyone's health. And if COVID is as contagious as the experts say, then those people wearing masks incorrectly and without proper hand hygiene is what's causing the surges of the virus right now. The bottom line is we shouldn't demand people wear a mask without proper education of how to wear one first. And in conjunction with good hand hygiene. We hope you can now understand the implications of wearing a mask improperly and how it defeats the whole purpose of why some people even wear them. Doctors and nurses wear surgical masks during hospital procedures, but they never touch the mask. The reason for this is because it would contaminate their surgical gloves or hands with whatever germs, bacteria, or viruses is on the mask, and they would have to stop whatever they're doing to go wash their hands again. so they do not touch the mask during a procedure, period. Then, after surgery, what do? They carefully grab the straps of the mask from behind the back of the ears and instantly dump it in the nearest trash bin. And then, yes, you guessed it, they wash their hands again. The reality is we are and will see more spikes in this virus because of the mismanagement of the face mask. In a nutshell, sick people, if they must go outside of their home, should wear face masks properly and in conjunction with good hand hygiene, or if they cannot do that, they should just stay home. This way, everyone will know who is sick and who is not sick. Healthy people should not need to wear a mask for obvious reasons, and we've went and have done all those previous studies about asymptomatic people. The truth is, if we're to believe the experts and the contagiousness of COVID-19, the virus is virtually everywhere, and everyone sooner or later is going to get the virus. They will become in contact with the virus, and so the best thing for everyone is to take good care of their body, no matter how old or young or healthy you are. We need to be responsible for our health. More proven facts. Let's not forget virus particles are at least 3 to 10 times smaller than the mask, which means the masks do not keep out all particles, and even when worn correctly and in conjunction with consistent hand washing.
First of all, without getting into a lot of numbers that don't translate well, just remember, viruses are tiny, tiny, tiny little things. And as it turns out, they can penetrate the surgical mask barrier. According to the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, in community settings, quote, face masks are not designed or certified to protect the wearer from exposure to respiratory hazards. Another study showed that surgical masks don't provide protection for aerosols, and they gave a range, but the COVID-19 is in that range. It's not protected for that. In household settings, I found 2 studies showing that in a household, surgical masks do not prevent transmission of the flu. Surgical masks, all right? Now, due to shortages, a lot of health directors, including ours, have been instructing people to make their own masks out of cloth. According to a hospital study in which hospital wards were randomized to medical masks, cloth masks, or a control group, which included a high proportion of people who wore some type of mask, the rate of infection was highest in the cloth mask group as compared to the group wearing any other type of mask. Transmission of viral particles through cloth masks was almost 97%. And the reasons cited included moisture retention, reuse of the masks, and poor filtration, all of which can actually increase rather than decrease the risk of infection.
Did you get that? It increases your risk of COVID infection. The exact people mandating and pushing all of these silly laws know this about the wearing of the face masks. Yes, experts, you're right. We all have to be responsible to our fellow man, but so far, with all you guys and gals in charge, we've seen more damage done to millions of people's health and livelihood in just the past 5 months than in the last 100 years. And you're worried because some healthy people aren't putting a mask on their face? We need to get educated on this subject, and we need to be informed, and we need to question. If we're not sure about something, then we will understand why face masks should be a personal choice and not compulsory.
In a reality check of how concerned you should be and what you should really do to protect yourself and your family. We're seeing a rush to buy those face masks, and TJ Holmes is here with more on that. Good morning, TJ.
All right, let me try to make it plain here, Stray. I have one surgical face mask here between the two of us, between me and Tom. He's sick, I'm not. Who should get the mask? Well, your natural instinct is to say, give me that mask. I don't want to catch what he has, but I should be begging him to wear it, because him, the sick person wearing it, better protects me, the healthy person, as if I were wearing it myself. So all these masks are floating around out there. Which ones do health officials say you should use? None of them.
As coronavirus fears sweep the country, many are turning to protective face masks, hoping to keep the germs away. And the surgical face masks that many people are turning to for protection from coronavirus likely won't protect you, according to health officials. These types of masks instead are recommended for people who are already sick, because they're designed to prevent a person from spreading germs from sneezing and coughing. But there's another type of mask called an N95 or respirator mask, which the FDA EPA says has a very efficient filtration, keeping out 95% of airborne particles. But health officials only recommend these for healthcare professionals who are in constant contact with sick patients.
I think people see a mask and they see an illusion of protection, that if they put the mask on, it'll somehow block viruses from getting into their mouth or nose when they breathe. That's just not the case. Anyone who does not have a respiratory illness, meaning a cough or sneezing, should not be wearing any type of mask.
What this video stated 5 months ago you just saw is the truth, not what they spouted off to you today or yesterday. This health advice comes from established studies about how viruses work. They can't just start changing facts, studies, and health truths. Please do not fall prey to their propaganda and agenda. Critical thinking, guys and gals, this is common sense stuff. Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. Open your eyes and see the truth. Oh, and one last thing. Please stop telling healthy people you think they're selfish for not wearing a face mask. You're selfish for telling healthy people to muffle their face with an ineffective face mask that does more harm than good. It does not take rocket science. It just takes common sense.